Hey guys, this is E. So patch 2.4 has hit. There's a lot of interesting items and revamped skills to test out. One thing that is now possible thanks to the 2.4 patch is what I'm calling, infinite zombie rain, I guess is what I'm calling it. So you're seeing it in action here. Let me finish off this pack. This is Torment 10, by the way, so as you can see, things melt pretty quickly. I don't think it's as good as your standard Acid Rain Helltooth set, but it deals a decent amount of damage, and it's pretty fun to use. I've always liked the Grasp of the Dead skill. It's just never ever been very, very good. It was okay for proccing the Zunimasa set, but the Zunimasa set isn't that good. So anyways, this is pretty entertaining, and you can do decently well in Torment 10. Obviously you can't one-shot things, but let me show you the build. I think it's fun to mess around with. Alright, so in order to make this work, in order to make Grasp of the Dead go essentially infinite, you're going to need Deadly Rebirth. This is a weapon that's been out for a while. So Grasp of the Dead gains the effect of Rain of Corpses rune. And we are also going to need Wilken's Reach. This allows Grasp of the Dead to have no cooldown. This is new to the 2.4 set. So why is this important? So this is important because it allows us to use Unbreakable Grasp as our primary rune. So with Unbreakable Grasp, we reduce the mana cost all the way down to 0, and we also slow enemies further, which is nice. From our weapon, we get Rain of Corpses tacked on. This was slightly changed, so now it deals the physical corpse damage over 3 seconds instead of 8. The corpse damage also stacks, which means if you throw down multiple Grasp of the Dead in the same area, the corpses, their damage won't cancel out if you have multiples in the same area, which makes it pretty nice. Okay, so this is really just our primary left mouse button attack. We don't really even have one of our primary skills equipped, so we are using, along with this, the Helltooth set. So I am using the 6-piece Helltooth set. For your amulet, you can use whatever you want, doesn't really matter. I had Nemesis bracers equipped for some reason, I don't know why. This is actually supposed to be Jerem's bracers to make your wall of death a lot more powerful. I'm using the fire, extra fire damage with that. Let's see. So I'm actually using Short Man's Finger and Tall Man's Finger here. I'm not using Focus and Restraint because we're not using a primary skill. So we only are going to be able to benefit from half of Focus and Restraint. With the belt, I'm using Witching Hour, but you can use whatever you want. And I already showed you Deadly Rebirth. You want an ancient legendary if you have one, otherwise you're going to be doing very low damage. And Wilken's Reach, again, I don't really even have ancient items here. I have this, but it's not really that good, and I have an ancient amulet, but everything else pretty much is just normal in an ancient helm. So let's show you guys the skills. Alright, we already talked about this. Wall of Death is going to be how you proc your Helltooth set. It also deals a good amount of damage. Spirit Walk is pretty much, your go-to defensive / escape ability. Zombie Dogs, Burning Dogs, Gargantuan with cold damage. I'm using this because the Cleave ability is a bit of an AoE effect, so that's nice. Pyranado is an all-around good defensive / offensive skill to have. For my passes, I'm using Jungle Fortitude, Spirit Vessel, Pierce the Veil, and Midnight Feast. You can mix around and use whatever you want here. It really doesn't matter. This build isn't very particular about what you use. You can do whatever you want as long as you have this Deadly Rebirth and Wilken's Reach. So I am using Midnight Feast though, just because I'm using the pet buffing runes here. These guys hit for well over 1 billion damage when they crit, so that's nice. Maybe even a couple billion, I haven't really counted, but let me show you what's in my cube. So I'm using the Furnace. That just happens to be the best cubed weapon I have. Convention of the Elements, again, great for damage. And then the Grin Reaper. This is very underestimated, I think, but this amplifies your damage by a lot, because they can cast your Wall of Death, they can cast Grasp of the Dead, and they can cast Paranado. So no matter what they're casting, it's always going to be beneficial for you. And because we have Paranado, Grasp of the Dead, pretty much everything on screen is going to be able to proc Bane of the Trapped. And then I'm also using 2 defensive gems, Molten Wildebeest Gizzard and Esoteric Alteration. Again, you can use whatever you want. I haven't leveled up my gems that significantly. As you can see, they're only in their 50s. So yeah, again, this isn't really a very super energy intensive or item intensive build, but I thought it was a really interesting interaction that's capable of dealing a decent amount of damage, enough damage to be able to take you through Torment 10 with absolutely no issues. So hope you guys enjoyed little build. It is pretty easy to get the items, so if you guys are interested, I'm sure you can build this with relatively little effort. Again, all you really need are the mojo and the weapon, and those aren't particularly difficult to get. They're not super rare. So yeah, as you can see, things are melting pretty quickly. Not as quick as some of the top tier builds, clearly, but enough so that you're not sitting duck and just taking 20 minutes to go through a Nephilim Rift. And yep, if you want to stick around, I'll be playing through another couple minutes of this Rift and then closing down the recording. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a thumbs up if you did, and I might have to pause the video and go back and see what my dudes are critting for, because it looks like my pets are critting for billions of damage, but I can't really see it too clearly on the screen here. I might have to pause it and go back to it later on. But the pets do a really good job of tanking for you, and also making sure that they really focus down the elites. Their single target damage is pretty good, and they also do a decent amount of AoE damage and incidental area damage too, so that's always nice. But again, you can use whatever you want with this as long as you're using Grasp of the Dead and the appropriate weapon combo. Alright, I'm going to take out this elite pack and end the video. See you guys in the next one.